Rhenee. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to continue on this journey with us to build this community so that we can continue to be informed and learn about each other and just build that support that I know so many of us need. I know that I needed it and still need it to this day. I hope that by sharing my story and eventually the stories of others regarding infertility and IVF and NICU journey and just life in general, in between and after, we could create a new norm about being more open about these types of topics, and letting people know about our honest opinions and experiences. I don't think that we discuss it enough. Without further ado, I will jump right into it. Our infertility story began not long after we met. And when I say we, I mean my now husband, but at the time was my partner. At the time, we had only been dating for about 1 year. But since we were so close to being in our 30s, and everyone, when I say everyone, people that are older than us, I don't know about you guys, but here in the South, there's a huge pressure that's put on you when you're getting close to your 30s and you haven't had kids yet or you're not married yet. And so in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm almost 30, I'm ready. But we were just ready because we were, in love and we wanted to create a family together. So we just knew the goal was to be married and to become parents. So we decided to stop taking precautions, and if we became pregnant, we just take it from there. So before continuing my story, I want to insert some facts that I didn't really know about until, after learning about infertility. But I want to share these facts with you all. If you're like me, you possibly have grown up in an environment where people constantly discuss, how easy it is to get pregnant. Even from when we're young. Oh, you better not, you're going to end up pregnant. Don't do this or you end up pregnant. Or sayings like, all he did was look at me and I ended up pregnant. Or all he did was have to breathe on me and I was pregnant. And in actuality, the average person does not conceive that quickly. It's just not how it works. What I did uncover regarding conceiving facts was that only 30% of people, or 30% of couples, conceive within the first month of trying to get pregnant. And then it goes up to 60% within 6 months. And then it goes up to 80% within 1 year. It doesn't go up to 90% until you are at your second year. So if you're watching this right now and you're trying to figure out, am I, experiencing infertility, but you are still within that time frame, it's possible if you don't have any health-related issues that you're probably just needing to try longer. Of course, always consult with your healthcare provider just to double check. Disclosure again, guys. I know I told you in the first video, but if you haven't watched my intro video, I do have a 1-year-old son. He very much wants to be a part of this video. He cannot be. You will hear him make noises. He's okay. Anyway, I'll discuss other facts about achieving pregnancy in another video this week, but I had to put that tidbit of information in here because I really wanted you all to understand, the truth, the facts, and not just what the sayings that people say these days. Now, to quickly run through how we got to the point where we decided we needed professional assistance regarding our fertility. We met, we fell in love, we lived freely. We actually ended up getting pregnant within the first year, but I had a miscarriage. And after I had that miscarriage, I went to see my OBGYN at the time, and she was so dismissive. She brushed it off. Basically, she told me, it happens. You're young. You can get pregnant again. which was very traumatizing. I didn't know who else to turn to. If my doctor was saying this, and what am I supposed to do? So I didn't know at the time that she should have done further testing to make sure that my miscarriage wasn't life-threatening and things like that. Thank God that it wasn't, nothing happened to me, but it could have. So if you ever experience a miscarriage, make sure that your healthcare provider does the proper testing to make sure that there isn't any matter or anything left inside that can cause infection, that can kill you. Don't be like me and be uninformed. So I shelved my concerns about infertility at the time because my doctor didn't seem concerned. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. And I didn't really talk about it to anybody. I didn't really let my friends know. I didn't really let my family know. We just tucked it away. And then we kept trying. We kept trying for almost 3 years after that miscarriage. And after still not having a successful pregnancy, we went to Dr. Google. Okay, yes, Dr. Google. You all know how it is. And we realized when we looked up those facts that I mentioned earlier that we were not a part of the average statistics. We had surpassed the amount of time that is, the usual for people to be able to conceive. And at this point, after speaking with, at the time he was my partner, I figured that I need to go to an OBGYN. Since they are all about vaginas, that's where it all starts, right? That's where conception begins. Everything has to get through there, right? So I was like, I'm guessing I need to talk to my OBGYN about this regarding fertility. So definitely I decided to find another OBGYN. There was no way I was going back to the other doctor. She seriously made it feel like I was overreacting when in reality, I knew myself. I knew that something was wrong, and I allowed her to make me change my mind about that. It is important to find a good healthcare provider in all aspects of your health, not just with fertility or with your OBGYN. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel dismissed or your gut is telling you that your doctor is wrong, trust yourself, trust your gut. 9 times out of 10, you're probably right. You get a second opinion, third opinion, fourth, however many times you need to get an opinion until you feel like you're being heard. There aren't specific percentages on how often people are misdiagnosed or overlooked on infertility issues by medical professionals, but it happens a lot. Sometimes it's due to the quality of healthcare providers that people have access to, like if they're in a low income and they don't have access to providers that will be willing to put that sort of effort. Whether there is someone who does not have access to medical services in general, access to medical health care due to maybe not working or not having health insurance from their job. Some studies suggest that a significant number of individuals with infertility issues may not receive an accurate or timely diagnosis for treatment because of inadequate testing, misinterpretation of test results, or lack of awareness from the Medicare, Lord help me, why did I say Medicare? Lack of awareness from the medical provider that they visited regarding their infertility issues, and it's really sad. But I know I feel really lucky. I had a truly random encounter that allowed me to find the OBGYN that I ended up having. Heaven sent. Her name is Dr. Pompey. I will put her information in the description box. If you're in the DFW area, I encourage you. She is accepting new patients. Check her out. Shout out to Dr. Pompey. But I found her. I booked an appointment. And that appointment, you guys, changed the course of our journey to become parents in a way that we were not prepared for. Excuse me. So before I continue my story, I want to give you some tools, or some knowledge on questions that your healthcare provider should be asking you. If you're going to them about infertility issues, they should at least be asking you these 10 questions that I'm about to let you know. If they don't ask you these 10 questions, find somebody else. Get somebody else to do it, because they don't know what they're doing. Or they might know what they're doing and they're not putting the effort in that's needed. They're not taking you seriously. Number 1, how long have you been trying to conceive? Number 2, have you been pregnant before? And if so, how many times? Number 3, have you or your partner experienced any previous fertility issues or reproductive health concerns, like if you had a miscarriage and things like that? Number 4, do you have a history of any medical conditions or chronic illness? I'll discuss in detail further along in this video what I'm meaning by that and how it can affect. Actually, I'll talk about that in the next video, about those things that can affect infertility, such as like the chronic illnesses or medical conditions. Number 5, have you undergone any previous surgeries or medical treatments that may impact fertilities? Examples include cancer treatments or any type of radiation treatments that could affect your fertility. Number 6, excuse me. Number 6, are you currently taking any medications, including prescription drugs, over-the-counter medicines, or supplements? Number 7, do you or your partner have a history of sexually transmitted infections? I'm going to discuss that further in the next video as well, because that's really important, especially for young people. That's something that when I was doing my research, it had nothing to do with us, but I was surprised that something like that could affect your fertility. Number 8, are you experiencing any symptoms that may indicate hormonal imbalances and reproductive health issues? I'm going to talk about that in detail in the next video as well. Number 9, do you or your partner smoke or drink alcohol excessively or use recreational drugs? And number 10, have you or your partner been exposed to environmental toxins or occupational hazards that may affect fertility? If they are not asking these questions, getting down to the nitty-gritty, trying to get into details about your life and what could possibly be affecting you, find somebody else. I cannot stress that enough. I can't stress it enough. I fortunately only encountered one provider regarding my fertility that was dismissive, and I quickly took care of that when the time came for me to, need to ask more questions. And I just don't want anybody else to have to go through what I went through. But after I answered the questions, she asked me those questions. I answered them for myself. I answered them for my partner, and she suggested that we complete some simple tests that will help determine further if we truly had any fertility issues. And all I could think to myself after speaking to her was, wait, I can't get pregnant? Further test? What does all of this really mean? And the thought of it, going back to when she said I would need further tests. Anytime you hear anybody say you need further tests with anything that they're talking about, it's worrying. But I'm going to end it right there. For a continuation on what test I took, the ones that she suggested, subscribe and hit the notification bell. I am excited to continue this discussion with you. I'm really going to deep dive into everything. I'm going to tell you every single detail, everything that we did to take the steps to test our infertility. And I say our because both myself and my partner made sure that we were tested to see who or what was affecting. Comment any questions below that you might have for me, that you would like for me to answer. If you'd like to share your story and you want me to share it on my channel, I can do that. Send me an email. I'll put my email in the description box. I'll put my email in the description box below. But yeah, until next time. time. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for sticking around this far. Remember, I'll be answering those testing questions in the next video. Until next time, it's Heather Rhenee, y'all.